Sup, dudes? Ray here. Now, believe it or not, I've been on this planet for a pretty decent amount of time. And while I won't give specifics, I will say this. I've been around long enough to experience pretty much every single console generation when it comes to video games. I remember the NES all the way up until now. And I gotta say, one of the coolest experiences so far is being able to see the evolution of gaming as a whole when it comes from 8-bit cartridges all the way to hundreds of gigs and file sizes, from 2D sprite rendering all the way to AI frame generation, right? This whole evolution of technology has been so cool to witness. And while I feel like modern gaming is a little lackluster when it comes to creativity, I still appreciate it nonetheless. And I gotta say, one of my favorite things about my journey through gaming so far is seeing how creative a lot of these developers have gotten throughout the console generations. And when I think creativity, there's really just one thing that comes to my mind: cutscenes. Now, whether they're pre-rendered, in-game, whatever, right? There's been a plethora of amazing cutscenes, amazing content, and when you really think about it in the grand scope of things, with as many video games that have been out there and released, there's got to be some hidden gems that even I haven't seen. So I started a quest to find the greatest cutscene ever in all of video games. And I'm going to start that quest off with one of my favorite consoles ever, the Sony Playstation. Now, this thing was badass when it came out because it was my first exposure to 3D gaming. And with the advent of that kind of technology at the time came some really cool and unique cutscenes. Now, let's be honest, this thing has a ton of games. And so I'm not going to be able to get through all of the cutscenes that I want in this video. But if you have some, or if there's some cutscenes that you didn't see, post in the comments below, bro. I'm definitely going to be revisiting this. But for now, hang out, chill out, grab a Coke, grab some snacks, chill with me. I also do this on Twitch as well, so if you want to participate, join me every Monday as I delve into a different console, checking out different cutscenes, and just interacting with you guys. Anyways, enough chatter. Let's get into it. Alright, we are going to start off with the cutscene that gave me this whole idea. And I'll tell you the story behind this, because it was a demo disc that I got from fucking Pizza Hut, I think, or like maybe like a magazine. I remember Pizza Hut being heavily tied into this demo disc, so I feel like that might have been it. But it had the opening cutscene from Final Fantasy VIII. Oh, not even the opening cutscene. Island scene. Is that it? Yeah, landing in Dolet. This scene. But let's just do the intro. I want to do the intro first, because this was also fucking mind blowing. Like, I'm so used to like pixel graphics, right? Um, and this is the first game I ever got on the PlayStation. So this right here, bro, I cannot tell you. Like, my mind was just like fucking blown when I saw this, bro. This to me looked so damn realistic. Oh man, I don't want the HD version. I just want. Here we go. We'll do this. Here we go. Oh wait, look at that stupid ass mouse right there. Oh my god, you idiot. You idiot. Why would you do this to me? I don't want the. Here we go. Imagine going from Final Fantasy VII and seeing this shit. Then a fucking sword. Bro, you knew some shit was about to go down. Imagine trying to figure out what this game was about from this cutscene. Like, what the fuck? What is all this? Bro, epic. Epic. Oh, I don't want that. Like, damn. Damn, bro. I was so pumped to get into this game when I saw that intro. Now, on the demo, they actually played a different scene. They didn't play the intro. They played the arrival on Dalit. The landing on Dalit. This was it. This is what I saw on the demo disc, and I was like, "Holy shit, bro!" Once again, like before this, I can't remember of a game that had like, especially on console, that had graphics like this. Like I cannot overstate the amount of mind of mine that was blown by this fucking cutscene. Man, pre-rendered graphics were such a badass thing back in the day. I could probably find a better version than this, actually. Give me a sec here. Oh, this is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Because it's still pre-rendered. They can't, like, upscale that shit. You'd be surprised, bro. PSP. That'd be a good console to look at too, actually. But even with something like this, right, you still had to be creative. There were still limitations. I just sold my modded 3DS. I can't hold him; it's too small. Look at that fucking spider, bro. Why make a spider robot? I'm saying, bro. Get in there, Zell. Oh, that's Squall. There's Zell. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Bro, you know what's also weird when you think about it is that Quistis and that whole team was like 15, 16 years old, being sent to like war torn territories to to what? To fight a giant robotic mechanical spider. And not only that, that 15-year-old handled that cannon with precision. I, why? Why? Why couldn't they be adults, Square? I don't know. I have no idea. But this cutscene did a real like all of it. The whole visual presentation of Final Fantasy VIII is what gave it such a everlasting impact on me, bro. It almost feels like every year I play through the game or I talk about the game, I think about the game ever since it came out. Just every year. I had to play either Final Fantasy VIII. I got to do a triple triad run. I got to do GF runs, right? Collect all the GFs, Guardian Forces, the Junction System, all that shit, bro. What god did they fight? You know, it's always a 15-year-old fighting gods. They fight Eden, I think her name was, right? Or Alamalexia, whatever her name was. Um, she that whole scene was, I mean, like, Square's story writing. Them motherfuckers had to been on some kind of psychedelic when they were writing these stories because every story is so way out there and so creative. And I think it's because um, they had limitations, right? When you think about when the first Final Fantasy it came out on Nintendo. That was like an 8-bit cartridge, 8 bits. You had 8 bits to work with. That's not much. So they had to get creative. And then here, right? This was a oh, got bad news and decent news. What's the bad news, rival? But I feel like when you're limited like that, it forces you to be creative. Whether it's in writing or with the limited cutscenes you got. I got shit exotics from my caches. Oh, rival, if you only knew how many exotics you're about to fucking go through. Hey, Lady's Death is a pretty good SMG. Really good SMG. But I think there really isn't a company that exemplifies doing so much with so little than Square Enix at the time with Final Fantasy, the whole franchise, right? Because at the time you had Final Fantasy Tactics, you had Final Fantasy VII, obviously, the cartridge games, the old cartridge games, the story writing in that, the storytelling in that, amazing. And I feel like with today's gaming environment, with the amount of tools available, it's too easy to not have to worry about writing. It's too easy to make everything flashy and realistic and all this shit. And it almost kind of robs us of creativity like this. What's the most creative thing we've seen in gaming recently? I would say, honestly, Claire Expedition. Well, Clear Obscure Expedition 33. I would say that's probably the most creative and unique environment I've been around. Everything else is just fucking space. It's just space. Oh, go to planets. Go visit planets. Oh, you're gonna visit a whole galaxy. Like, what the fuck? I don't like how many space games or space themed games do we fucking need? GTA 6, bro. It's just real life. It's just real life. I heard you can get parking tickets in GTA 6. Why the fuck would I pay money to get parking tickets in a video game? Oh, they're gonna have parades. Why? What is the need for that in gaming? It's so weird how willing we as a society are to accept simulations of things that we do in real life. And then you got like you gotta pay taxes too. Fuck, bro. What? Right? Does TurboTax like does Intuit TurboTax? Can I get a discount for bundling my video game insurance with my real life fucking taxes? Can I get a bundle filing my taxes for both? But here, dude, you can escape in this, bro. There's no fucking like a big giant ass spider robot, right? The writing is so I don't want to say avant-garde, but unique, right? Because you had to be. You had to be. Pressure creates diamonds. That's a saying I heard a long time ago, bro. And it sticks with me because we see diamonds all the time. And that speaks for something, bro. You take this, you remaster this, and it'll stand out in today's gaming because you're not in some medieval fantasy world, right? You're not in space all of a sudden, right? It's just, it's crazy. I feel like with the advent of technology, things are just becoming more sterilized. But this isn't the only Final Fantasy game on the PlayStation. I'm going to digress here. I'm digressing. Let's get back on topic. I think Final Fantasy Tactics actually um, had some good stuff. Right now, I think for number one, oh, it's gonna be Final Fantasy VIII. No, I mean like determining how. Oh wait, Rival said never played none of the Final Fantasy games. Is that crazy? Um, I wouldn't think so, honestly. I mean, what good Final Fantasy games have came out recently, right? I feel like Rival, you're probably um, a little newer than the PlayStation era, right? The PS1 era. So I would say the last console that had like truly unique Final Fantasy games was the PlayStation 2. And I cannot wait to show you some of those cutscenes. Those cutscenes were really amazing. But I mean, you look at the recent one, right? With Clive. Okay. Well, 15 was a bomb, right? Because it all just looks boring. It just looks boring. So no, I don't call you crazy for doing that. I've never played like for example, Z says um like Final Fantasy X, a lot of people put that as one of their greatest games ever made. Final Fantasy VI, I hear, is good. Final Fantasy VII. Here's my thing. Here's my theory behind this. I feel like if you ask anyone what the greatest Final Fantasy game is going to be, it's always the one they start off with. It's always the first one they've ever played, which for me was eight. And to this day, I still think eight really stands tall. Granted, a lot of people don't. A lot of people really hate eight. The system's broken as fuck, right? You can really abuse the junction system and get overpowered real easily. So I can understand where it's coming from. But no other Final Fantasy game has triple triad. Find me another Final Fantasy game with a badass side card game. Go ahead, do it. Do it. You can't. You can't. Spoiler alert. You cannot because triple triad was goat, is goat, still is goat. I mean, you look at what it spawned, right? Like, look at the Witcher card game. That Gwent, right? Garbage. Rival. I had a PS2, but back then I was on the GameCube hard. GameCube was pretty tight. I was on a Rampage World Tour. Ooh, Rampage was really good, actually. I played the shit out of that in the arcades, dude. That was a lot of fun, especially on the old consoles as well. Lots of hours wasted on Rampage. Z, that's a common saying. Yeah, you're first. Yeah, like, honestly, I feel like that because anytime you ask somebody, they're always going to say something different. But I think that speaks to like to the overall uniqueness of the franchise itself. How many other franchises out there are split like that? I think we can all pretty much universally agree, not universally, but majorly. I think we can all. Oh my God, this is gonna fuck me up. I think the majority of us, there it is. I think the majority of us can agree on like the best Tekken game. We can all agree on the best Mortal Kombat game. We can agree on, in other games. I feel like we can always find a consensus on what the one better game is in the entire franchise. Final Fantasy, so many different so many different games. Everybody's so into every one individually that it's just beautiful to me. It's like what your favorite piece of art is at that point. That's what it is. To me at least. These people, they weren't making games at the time. They were making art. They were crafting stories, creating expression. And it shows in all this old stuff. My very first Final Fantasy was 13, and that's one of the most hated in the series. I didn't like the first game, but I liked the second. I'm really into time travel stories. Okay. 13, bro. 13 was. I played through all of 13. I liked it. But then again, I think I liked it just because it was such a distinct difference from the other Final Fantasy games. Um, and it just stood out. Like all the characters stood out. I feel like 13 was kind of like 8 in the sense that like it was like really one of the first big PS3 Final Fantasy games. So it was like the next step in the Final Fantasy echelon. I feel like every franchise likes the first game that came out. Like, for example, I love Black Ops 1. That was my favorite game from the Black Ops franchise. So let me ask you this. Would you consider Black Ops a franchise or would you consider Call of Duty the franchise? And Black Ops just being like a spin off of that? I hated Snow. Not even too much for his character, but how he looked like a whole ass 30-year-old man getting married to what looks like a teenager. And they rubbed the relationship in your face. Bro, Snow was all right. He was. I. The reason I like Snow is because I've always been a fan of the Shiva summon, the Shiva Guardian Force. That's probably one of my favorite summons in all of Final Fantasy. That and Diablo. So when like I can see the whole scene in my head and how they're just like morphing into a bike because they were twins, right? They morphed into a bike and he got on the bike and he did all that cool shit, bro. That was pretty cool. That was really cool. But you're right. That little romance. Should you probably go for more people your age? Snow? Yeah, probably. Probably. Snow's got that fucking Alex complex from Street Fighter. Snow is just the Alex of Final Fantasy. Pre pre-ordering. That's so fucked up. Pre-ordering. Oh my god, dude, that's fucked up. Oh, let's see. PS1 cutscene. Let's do the intro. We'll just do for Final Fantasy. I feel like unless there's a specific one you guys want to point out, I'm just gonna stick with intro. Let's see what this is. Pre-ordering. The Zodiac Brave story. There was a time when they were really into Zodiacs. That's whack. This ain't not. That ain't cutting it. That ain't cutting it. Do they have any kind of cutscenes actually? It's all just like rendered art, right? Look, I'm not gonna take away from the fact that like art panels like this, really cool, really unique. But I need a representation of the graphical era of the PS1. So I'm not gonna do 2D art. I think that'll be another rule. No 2D art. It needs to be unless the console is known for 2D art, it needs to be a representation of the console's capabilities. And it's weird to me. Let's see here. Final Fantasy Tactics release. $1997. Okay. All right. So there was a huge like you see the difference there between Tactics and 8. 7 was 97. So let's look at 7. Man, I don't want no low frame rate intro, brother. Here we go. I've actually never seen this. I've never played Final Fantasy VII. Big surprise. Ooh. Imposing in-game renders over a pre-rendered scene is magic. Magic. That okay. I'm gonna have to give it to them for this. I would honestly say out of the entire Final Fantasy franchise for the PS1 era, um, seven takes it. Seven takes it because you got to think about how things were at the time, right? Especially with Final Fantasy, you had six before. Seven was the first game that used 3D rendered assets, polygon like characters and stuff, right? So this is something brand new. And when you look at what Final Fantasy was on the SNES and everything like that, it had this same aesthetic, but it was sprites, 2D and everything. So to go from a 2D sprite asset like that to seeing that very world, or at least something that looks similar to that, because they're all set in different worlds, right? To see that whole aesthetic for the first time transferred into 3D, and not only that, but to have like polygonal assets layered over 3D rendering like that, pre-rendered cutscenes. Bro, what kind of voodoo are they doing back then, man? That's 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 what I mean by like art assets. They had to do that because of memory limitations on the disc, right? The disc couldn't hold so much, only hold so much data, and so they took literally like a movie and just imposed actual rendered characters on the movie, and that's pretty much cinematography right then and there. So I'm gonna say Final Fantasy VII beats eight. If anybody else objects, does anybody object? But I would say just from the simple fact that this is our first 3D exposure of Final Fantasy, and it executed something like a transition like that from a pre-rendered scene to pretty much just you're right into the game, especially during the PS1 era. I can understand why people love this game so much just from that aspect alone, that technical aspect. So, on a technical aspect, is badass. From an aesthetic aspect, it took Final Fantasy at the time, the whole steampunk vibe of Final Fantasy, and it translated it super well. So, yeah, we're gonna do seven. We're just gonna knock one off that. That's gonna sit at number one until we find something better. Now, I want to continue on to I want to stay on the RPG train right now because I want to talk about what could possibly be one of the greatest sleeper RPGs ever on the PS1 era. And I've had several copies of this game and didn't really know what I had until it was too late. And now I have no copies and I'm kicking myself in the ass because of this. I'm talking about The Legend of Dragoon. Bro, this game, my fucking god, bro. You want to talk about like toe to toe, standing toe to toe with Square and Final Fantasy? Bro, Legend of Dragoon really fucking. I would say they're a hard second place, a solid second place. Like a real solid second place. Yeah, the guitar. Oh, so good. Oh. You are free to sever the chains of fate that bind you. Bro, I don't like once again, what is that game even about, right? I don't know, but it sounds badass. It sounds really badass. Let's pause this again. And another thing about making these cutscenes, especially back then, I refer back to size limitations and how that forces you to be creative. And so while you may not be able to make like fidelity, the most clean looking game fidelity wise, if you add things like a great soundtrack or just good sound, that also carries it a fucking long way. So I would say, I mean, it's not like, look, granted, it's not Final Fantasy. It's not the Final Fantasy cutscene, but at the same time, it was such a, it's still such a great fucking game intro, beloved. And I honestly feel like a big reason why it's beloved is because of these scenes, the amount of effort put into these scenes. What am I looking for? Here we go. The first cutscene. This is what I'm looking at. Here we go. I would say this is more like a medieval version of Final Fantasy.
Great Commander, this way.
Voice acting in their games. Final Fantasy didn't have that. Square didn't put that shit in their games.
So, this is her. Indeed.
Indeed.
Put her in custody.
Reminds me of Vagrant Story. Vagrant Story is really badass too.
Emperor Dole's command to take that girl into custody.
Who is she?
That is not your concern.
Uh-oh. Music starting to pick up. Yeah, I would put Dragoon number 2. Legend of Dragoon. I'm not going to do all RPGs, right? I feel like I can make a whole ass video on just RPGs. So for now, we're going to do Final Fantasy and Legend of Dragoon until we find something cooler. The Legend of Dragoon. Still a great game. Great game. It's cool to me how like the way they circumvented these data limitations was just to add more discs. Like, motherfucker had 4 discs. 4 discs for Final Fantasy. Why is that backwards? Oh, 4 discs on this bitch, bro. And God forbid you scratch one. You scratch a disc, you're fucked. I remember the first time I played this game. It was one of the first games I got with my PlayStation. I didn't have a memory card. I was too broke to get a memory card, and so I just got the console. And at the time, bro, I don't think I had a console that used memory cards um, at all. Because I went from Nintendo to the Super Nintendo to the Genesis and held on to the Genesis until the PlayStation. So no memory cards. It was all just saved on the thing, right? Um, I did not know that you needed to save to put the second disc in. I didn't know that. And so, um, or at least, I think you could put the second disc in with the thing on. I think that'd be fine. But I turned it off and put the second disc in, turned it on, no save. Completely gone. All that progress from the first disc wiped. And so I had to do that shit over again. I had to go through the first disc all over again. Of course, I didn't do it until I had a memory card, but that was the first time I ever really understood why you needed a memory card in gaming. Was because of Final Fantasy and losing my entire progress on the first disc. Give me one sec here. So let's transfer for something a little bit. Let's transfer from these serious cutscenes. I want to do some goofy shit, and I can't think of anything goofier than some good old Mortal Kombat. Have y'all ever heard of Mortal Kombat Special Forces? This was such a weird game. I don't understand, or at least at the time, I didn't understand why they deviated so much and did this was completely out of left field. But it was awesome. I bought it anyways because I didn't, you didn't have the internet, so I didn't know anything about the cutscene or the gameplay or nothing. I just saw Mortal Kombat Special Forces, and I saw the cover picture, and I said, "That's the one. That's the one. I want to try it out." I put this in my console. I press start, and I press the power button, and imagine the look on my face when the first cutscene I was introduced to was this shit. Once again, you're. I'll let this play real quick. Look, no backgrounds. It's just black, right? And just a combination of just pictures, drawings, and some rendered scenes from in the game. That might have been pre-rendered. That was pre-rendered. But still, you were once again forced into creativity because of limitations. And while obviously it's all pixelated, broken, and it's just and Special Forces is considered to be one of the single worst Mortal Kombat games ever by a fucking mile, if that, if more, if not more. But there's something charming about that because it's so like 70s, right? It kind of reminds me of Cowboy Bebop, honestly. Um, Cowboy Bebop was pretty tight. But I really like the way that the direction they went with it and kind of leaned into that cheesiness. And from the very beginning, the cutscene told you exactly what you were walking into. Cheese. The game was bad, but the charm was there, and it sold that charm sold copies of this game. Not many, but I feel like the real reason we remember this is because of how cheesy and goofy this looks. And that speaks a lot for how this game is rendered, right? I feel like it's better to be remembered and revered as like cheesy and goofy than to be just dismissed as an overall terrible game. There's a novelty in it. I can appreciate the novelty. This was a sign of the 2000s, bro. 2000s. But this isn't the MK scene I want to put on this list, actually. There is one MK scene from the PlayStation era that I'm going to put on this list. It really is the only one that matters in any Mortal Kombat game from the PlayStation back. One cutscene. Here we go.
It's over, Jarek. Shinnok is dead.
Wait, this is probably on a Dreamcast, actually. This looks like it's on a Dreamcast. Armageddon's on the PS2, which we'll get into. I cannot, I feel like the PlayStation 2 is going to be the hardest to make the tier list out of because, bro, there were some bangers. There were some bangers on the PlayStation 2. Armageddon being one of them. Final Fantasy X being another one, right? There are going to be, woo! PS1, I feel like there's an abundance of it, but it's real easy to tell, like, the good stuff from the bad stuff. I guess this is pre-rendered.
Going somewhere, Jarek?
No, we'll not do that one. Not the 64. I guess that is the right one. Yeah, okay, whatever. That's fine, we'll do this. It just looks too crisp for me.
It's over,
No,
Jarek.
today we're just doing the PlayStation 1. That's it. Today, this is going to be an ongoing series. I'm going to do every console. I'm going to go through every console. GameCube's getting PlayStation 2, all of it. But I feel like that's too much, right, to do in one sitting. So I feel like if I could just focus on one console, that would also create longevity for my YouTube series. So I feel like I can make a YouTube video about every console, and I think that'll work. So we're just doing PS1 today. Next time, we could do whatever, right? There's no real order. We could do Xbox, PS2, the Commodore, the 64, whatever. It don't matter. It don't matter. I love this stuff. So we'll do this for everything. And dude, if you guys have any suggestions of any console, any game, anything for a cutscene, you let me know. I want goofy shit. I want creative shit. I want artistic shit, unique shit. Artistic, not autistic. I want unique shit. I want expression. Right? Because I feel like we don't get that anymore. I feel like we're not going to get that with these new consoles and these new games. Everything's just shoehorned into like 3 or 4 specific categories. And if it's not like AI frame generated resolution type shit, right? If it's not hyper realistic, then I feel like nobody really cares. And so I want to bring that back. I want to revisit those days because you don't really get that. You don't get the goofiness we're about to see here. And PC nowadays or consoles nowadays. You just don't get it. It's all just like adult humor and it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't have the same kind of charm. But to me, this right here, easily the single greatest cutscene in Mortal Kombat history from the PlayStation and onward.
It's over, Jarek. Shinnok is dead. The good guys won. You're coming back with me.
Never, Sonya. I agreed to help defeat Shinnok, not turn myself into the special forces.
Not turn myself into the special forces.
The Black Dragon died with Kano. You're the last one, Jarek.
Never!
Come in, Major Briggs. It's Lucy and Sonya Blade. What?
Oh.
Sonya, this is Major Briggs. Come in. Sonya, this is Jax. Are you there?
What?
Going somewhere, Jarek? Jax!
Well, what's that sound? Bro, that sound?
This is Major Briggs. Come in. Sonya, this is Jax. Are you there?
I feel like that's supposed to be like a laugh. But it was so terribly done. That might be a fucking like a sound effect I use.
Going somewhere, Jarek?
Oh.
Jax! I thought you were going to. Thought I was what? Dead? Like my partner you just tossed off the cliff?
Oh.
I'm sorry, Jax. Please, don't drop me. Wait, I promise. Too late, Jarek. You can't drop me. You have to uphold the law. You have to arrest me. Wait, this is brutality. You can't do it. Wrong, Jarek. This is not a brutality. This is a fatality.
Woo! Cold! That cold ass line. This is not a brutality. This is a fatality. Bro, just from that alone, and just from this.
Going some.
I'm gonna put this at number 2. Legend of Dragoon is cool. I'm not gonna say it isn't, but I feel like more people will remember this than they would remember that cutscene. Legend of Dragoon is great just on the simple fact of it, the technicality of it, the combination of music and the presentation of it, but it's not the best at what it does. This is the best at what it does. It's campy, it's goofy, it's not serious, right? The lines are expertly delivered. It's just a product of love, bro. And that's what I've always, like, honestly, real talk, this is why I think Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, is one of the greatest franchises in the world, because at its core, and let's not consider MK1. I'm gonna exclude the WB era, because I feel like the Mortal Kombat from the WB era is not truly the vision of Ed Boon. I feel like it's the vision of Ed Boon with like limitations. But you look at anything before that up into Armageddon, and it's all just campy shit. It doesn't take itself seriously. It never did. And it's just a bunch of nerds making a nerdy fighting game, bro. And it's just, I love it. I love that so much. The fact that like we can see this, and it's consistent with every game up until I would say Armageddon. That the theme is just what you get with Mortal Kombat. Over the top, balls to the wall, just straight in your face video game. And for that, I got to put this at number 2. Exactly, rival. It doesn't have to be serious to be a good cutscene. And today, and this is why I picked the PS1, because I feel like the PS1 did such a great job at exemplifying that. That it doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't always have to be the most hyper technical shit in the world, but it can still sear itself in your core memory just through the impression it leaves with the creativity of it. So we're going to knock down Legend of Dragoon to number 3. Oh. And number 2 is going to be I don't like Black Widow. Bro, Jarek was looking for that soul stone, dude. Jarek was looking for that soul stone. Sonya got done like Black Widow. Mortal, I'll just do him. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 4. Jackson ending. We'll put in parentheses. How about this? We'll do this. MK4 Jack's ending. There we go. That's good. That's good. All right. I like this list so far. I would still say out of the PS1 era, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard to top Final Fantasy VII. Just based on the cultural impact of that game and what it did with the limitations it had. But damn it, if Mortal Kombat 4 wasn't close. Sub-Zero Mythologies did not have any pre-rendered cutscenes. And I don't think there was any other Mortal Kombat game other than 4. You know what? Let's just check out all the character endings. Bro, this is it, dude. This is it. That face, that Quan Chi face right there. Let's. Yes. This is what I'm talking about, bro. This is what I miss in gaming. Is this goofy shit, bro. This goofy shit. Let's watch all these endings. Bro, look at that. That's like a worm. It's not even like a whole rendered head. It's just like a like a worm on him or something. Oh, Z. Legend of Dragoon got upended by the Jax ending of MK4. We're gonna watch it again because we're gonna watch all the cutscenes here. But I would say MK4 on the PlayStation, bro, had some really funny fucking cutscenes.
Wow! I don't know what to say. I guess I could start by thanking all my fans out there. Well, that's enough of the mushy stuff. I mean, let's get real here, huh? When am I gonna get some real competition? Come on, don't get silent now. Where are all the cheers? Hey, wait a minute. I'm your #1 guy. I'm gonna remember this. Ow! Okay, now I'm
Throw a whole ass fucking bottle at him, bro. Bro, man. You know what? Hey, y'all know what vibes this gives me, actually? Y'all know exactly what vibe? I'll tell you exactly what vibes this shit gives me. Bro, I want to know what you remembered. I want to know what you remember. I want interaction. Legacy of Kain, bro. Hey, we're going to get into that as well, actually. Legacy of Kain is definitely badass. Bro, I'll tell you exactly what vibes this gives me. This shit, bro. This shit is that Johnny Cage thing in real life.
Why do I hear booze? I hear a lot of booze. All right, let's step up the cheers. All right, this is a big surprise. Let's get it. All right.
Bro, LTG is the Johnny Cage of like fighting games, dude. There is no difference between this and this. Life imitates art. Life imitates art right there. You can't spot the difference. I'll clip it. I'll clip this and then I'll shoot it in the Discord. But there is no difference between these two motherfuckers right here right now, bro.
I don't know what to say. I guess I could start by thanking all my fans out there. Well, that's enough of the mushy stuff. I mean, let's get real here, huh? When am I gonna get some real competition?
I'm hearing a lot of booze.
Don't get silent now. Where are all the cheers? Hey, wait a minute. I'm your #1 guy. I'm gonna remember this. Ow!
Bam! Bro, that thing was sealed, dude. Are you kidding me?
Hey, wait a minute. I'm your #1 guy. I'm gonna remember this.
Bro, that's a whole sealed ass bottle of fucking champagne right there, just lodged at him.
Ow!
Just fucking Hail Mary to his ass.
Come on, quit it! Oh,
Fucking pineapple.
Say, cut it out!
I'm not someone.
Our
Oh,
forces of
Fujin?
light have defeated Shinnok. Now, I must return to my duties as Earth's god of wind. You have served your element well, Fujin.
Also, bro, one thing I also do miss is this kind of effect, right? This kind of like real shiny liquid effect. And it was an aesthetic. Y'all ever look into aesthetics by chance? Like actually look into like different types of aesthetics, like future aesthetic, 2000 aesthetics. Bro, this was all over the 2000s. And I missed that shit, bro. Like Windows Aero theme, bro. Everything was in bubbles. Everything was water. Everything was like fluid and glossy and shiny, bro. And I miss that a lot because there's just something real charming about it, especially if it's done right.
We have a new mission for you. Raiden?
Our battle with Shinnok's forces is over. I must move on to my new position as an Elder God. And you, Fujin, you must take my former position as Protector of Earth.
Raiden, it will be my honor to succeed you.
Take special care of the mortals of Earth. They are a great people, but have the ability to self-destruct. Be patient and offer your wisdom and guidance.
Farewell, Thunder God. I will not fail you.
That is why I picked you.
Yeah, Fujin was kind of
The
lame.
war is over.
Like,
I once again
Fujin, he was cool in I think Mythology. No, wait. Mortal Kombat 4 came before Mythologies. Or did they come out around the same time? I remember playing Mythologies before I played 4, and I think Mythologies came out before 4. That was our first exposure to Quan Chi and Fujin, among some other characters. But Fujin just never really did it for me. I don't know. Like, those MMO animations. Bro, y'all wait until we do this shit for PC gaming, dude. PC gaming back in the 90s and early 2000s was unhinged. Unfucking hinged. It was amazing. I cannot wait to reach that era. But I just feel like, I don't know, if they would have put, where was Fujin next? He wasn't in Deadly Alliance, I don't think. He was in Deception. He was in Armageddon. Everybody was in Armageddon. He wasn't in 9. Wasn't in 10. Wasn't in 11. So like 4 or 5 appearances across the entire franchise. I feel like they could have done more. I wouldn't mind a Fujin-oriented story. Expand on it, but just from what they gave us, nah.
defended my title as champion of Mortal Kombat and defended the realm of Earth, but I have failed to save the realm of Edenia. In doing so, to save the realm.
Look at that shit. Look at that shit. I come bow to you. Them PS1 hands, bro. Name me another console that has their own defined style of hands than the PS1. You got them PS1 hands, bro.
And defended the realm of Earth, but I have failed to save the realm of Edenia. In doing so, I have also lost Kitana forever. Kitana?
Yes, Liu Kang. It is I.
But I thought you were gonna lick.
With Shinnok's destruction, you have not only saved the Earth, but you've also saved my own realm. For that, I can never repay you.
Knowing that you survived is
Look
all
over
that
there.
As heir
Look
to
over
the
there.
throne of my realm, I offer you the chance to rule at my side, as King of Edenia, forever.
I cannot accept your offer. I belong here on Earth as champion of Mortal Kombat.
Then, I wish you good luck, Liu Kang. On all your
Incel.
journeys.
Liu Kang's an incel, bro. I guess he's a voluntary
Goodbye, Princess
celibate.
Kitana.
Volcel?
Come in again, Major Briggs. This is
Sorry, Katana, I can't be king of an entire realm and rule all that. I gotta be champion of my fighting tournament that I already won here on Earth. Bro, sorry. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me, bro. Send me in that portal. You mean be king? You just really well, yeah, I would say Liu Kang's probably got the Goku complex. I would say Goku. Yeah, you know, that's a good I would say I would call Liu Kang the Goku of Mortal Kombat. I could do that.
Lieutenant Sonya Blade. What?
Sonya, this is Major Briggs.
Bye-bye.
Sonya, this is Jax. Are you there?
Oh, that was just the Jax or the Jarek intro, the Jarek ending. Wait a minute, before we get into this one, before we get into Reiko, do y'all know were y'all aware of the conspiracy of Reiko back in the day? Do y'all know anything about that? And before they actually fleshed him out as a character and gave him his own story and shit? Oh man. Let's see. MK4 PlayStation release 97. Oh wait. No, 98 is when it came out on the PlayStation. It came out in 97 in the arcade. And unfortunately, unfortunately, it dropped on September 11th in 97. So I don't think we're ever going to get any kind of anniversary celebration of this game. I don't think, something tells me that we're probably not going to get oh shit. It's a pretty bad fighting game by today's standards. By today's standards, it's a pretty bad fighting game. But if you can suspend your expectations and like try to enjoy it for what it is, it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I played a lot of it actually. And then I got MK Gold on the Dreamcast, played a lot of that. It was all right for the time it came out, but considering that this was kind of at the advent of 3D, right, where these graphics were just coming out, becoming a thing, it's hard to create a stable game or a good game when you're kind of at the forefront of all this shit, because you're the one making all the mistakes at that point with development and programming and stuff. You don't have any kind of bar to adhere to. You're just, you know what I mean? But I would suggest trying it out. It's not the worst Mortal Kombat game. Only MK game I played as a kid was the Legacy Collection. MK games. God, bro. You make me feel old as fuck, dude. You make me feel real old. Oh, man. The first one I ever played was the original Mortal Kombat on Genesis. And that was some kid at school had it. And he lived in a house kind of across from where the school was. And so I went over there and did not tell my parents, by the way. I didn't get on the bus. I didn't get picked up or nothing. I just went over there and spent like, I don't know, till like nighttime on that bitch. And had to talk his parents into taking me home. And then my parents whooped my ass because I didn't tell them where I was. They beat they didn't beat me, but they sure as shit disciplined me for being gone that long. But the conspiracy behind Reiko and all this, granted, keep in mind, this is the first time we've ever seen this character. In the game, he had a shoulder charge, he had a boot, and he had a lot of other similarities to Shao Kahn. And up until this point, Shao Kahn has been dead. He's been completely dead, like literally killed. And so people were suspecting that Reiko was like the reincarnation of Shao Kahn, and that he was low key Shao Kahn. But the devs wouldn't say anything. Nobody could confirm shit until this cutscene. And let me tell you, when I saw this cutscene, when this cutscene came out, they knew what they were doing, fucking with us. What? 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 Are you kidding me? Nah, they said that I think Boone clarified it later that that wasn't Shao Kahn, but that was supposed to indicate Reiko taking over Outworld as the new Khan of Outworld. And that's what that whole scene was supposed to show. But at the time, we were like, God damn it, Shao Kahn's back. He's back. It was fucking crazy.
It's over, Jarek. Shinnok is dead. The good guys
Bro, they milked
won.
the fuck out of
You're
this
coming
scene.
back with me.
Never, Sonya. I agreed to help defeat Shinnok, not turn myself into the Special Forces. The Black Dragon, live on!
The Black Dragon died with Kano. You're the last one, Jarek.
Never!
Sidestepped. Sidestep
Come in,
punish.
Major Briggs. This is Lieutenant Sonya Blade. Over.
Sonya, glad to hear you're alive.
You actually sound happy to hear from me, Jax. Things get boring?
Not since you followed Liu Kang into the Nether Realm.
Well, it's over now. I'm returning to base. 10-4, Jax.
As payment for your loyal services, Quan Chi, I grant you the gift of your existence. My existence? Understand, sorcerer. I consume all energies, including the life forces of all that live, but I shall spare you. If it weren't for me, you would still be a tortured soul, rotting in the pits of the
Oh, he's pointing.
You
He don't got the
dare
PlayStation
question me?
hands.
I do more than
Oh, there they
question
are.
you, Shinnok. I challenge you. Then you shall die. What?
What?
Your powers are useless against me. How can this be? I am in possession of your once sacred amulet. Years ago, I delivered to you an exact duplicate, while
Zavala.
I retained the original. I even fooled Raiden. Now I am ruler supreme. And you, Elder God, are finished! You fought well, Kai. You are now a true Shaolin warrior.
Thanks, Raiden, but I'm not interested in becoming a Shaolin warrior anymore. I've got too many of my own problems to deal with.
What will you do next?
I feel that.
Don't know. Wander
I feel
the earth,
that.
search for my soul. That
I got too much bullshit to be a Shaolin monk. Teach tried to be a monk. Look what happened to him. He monked out real quick.
kind of thing.
I hated Quan Chi on Mortal Kombat 9. Everybody hated Quan Chi on Mortal Kombat 9. It was that damn teleport stomp, bro. It was the damn teleport stomp. How quick it came out. The frames on it, garbage. Garbage. Quan Chi was a menace in Mortal Kombat 9.
Well, perhaps you could use this on your journey.
Your lightning staff?
It holds the power of thunder and lightning. Wield it wisely, for it can show you the way to immortality. You've earned it.
Thank you, Raiden. I will not fail.
Fail at what? He didn't give you a task. He didn't give you a task. He just gave it to you.
Wisely, for it can show you the way to immortality. You've earned it.
Oh, he said use it wisely.
Thank you, Raiden. I will not fail.
I wonder what happened to Kai. He never showed up other than in Armageddon.
For many ages you have
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being like a indigenous monk on these mountains, living in these mountains, right? And you're just trying to garden or some shit like that, right? You're picking vegetables or training or some shit like that, right? And you just, all of a sudden, it just gets dark, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And you look, and there's just a big ass face just sitting there talking to some dude floating in the air. What would you do if you saw that shit? Remember, you just live in a hut on these mountains. That's it. You're tending to your goats, and all of a sudden, you just see, bro, that would fuck me up, dude. That would fuck me up. That would fuck me up so bad. Tej ditched the monks, turned into drag, then fought a wife by Eddie and deleted the game. Bro, I saw that. Hey, he asked for that shit. He asked for that shit. He agreed to a 4-bar Wi-Fi connection. What were you expecting? What could you expect other than the worst possible scenario, which you got? Because not only did that Eddie trounce him, thoroughly trounced Tej, but he won and done his ass. If that's not Tekken 8 in a nutshell, I don't know what is. I can't find any other clear example of what Tekken has become other than that one moment.
Realm from the forces of evil. You have earned your place among us. With your ascension into the pantheon of elder gods, you must choose your successor as the new protector of Earth.
With the aid of Earth's mortals, I have once again managed to defeat Shinnok and his minions. I choose Fujin. He will guide the mortals of Earth as they move
Dude
into
popped
the
Heat
next
not even
millennium.
3 seconds into the round. Damn. Wait a minute. He just became the face?
Into the next millennium.
Bro, I would get rid of the entire vegetable plot at that point. If I saw that shit, bro, something's wrong with what I'm eating. I'm killing the goats. Get the goats out of here. That's tainted meat. I'm getting rid of all the vegetables, bro. We starting over again, dude. We starting way over again. If I see nope. I see some fucking face morph into this shit while I'm trying to farm. It's time to move. Time to get out of there.
Follow me, Liu Kang. Raiden has asked that I lead you to him.
What about the others?
He has something special planned for them.
It's probably not a good omen. Oh, gone.
Tanya, what's going on?
I don't know what Katana saw in you. Can't you see, Liu Kang?
They're them PlayStation hands.
This is a trap.
Welcome, Shaolin warrior. Your thunder god is beaten. Earth's warriors destroyed. You are the last remnants of the forces of light. Do you wish to beg for mercy from your new master, the Lord Shinnok?
Never, sorcerer!
Gone.
Fool.
Cooked. Obliterated. I hated this reptile. I hated what they did to my boy Reptile. I could not, and I still have not forgiven them for this egregious transgression.
In the destruction of Earth's warriors. Yes, we are most appreciative of your efforts. Now I wish to return in time to my home world before it was destroyed at the hands of Shao Kahn as the new ruler supreme of all reality.
Bro's just dressed like a gimp. He's like a half-assed gimp.
Shinnok alone has the power to grant me this wish. You dare make such an impetuous request from your lord and master? It is a simple request for one of such great power. It is also not worth his attention. I demand it. If it were not for warriors such as myself, his attack against Raiden's forces would have failed. Perhaps you can convey your feelings to Shinnok himself. What?
Infidel! You are in no position to demand anything. I could kill you with a mere thought.
Bro, I loved in Mortal Kombat, they did it the best. They used percussions and drums so well to to accent like critical times. Is that why Liu Kang came back as zombie in Armageddon? No. But you will find out when we go over the PS2 because there is a cutscene that explains that. But I'm not going to say
But we had a deal.
A deal? I am not a god of my word, reptile. All deals are off. For millions
No
of
dice.
years, I suffered in the bowels of the Netherrealm. You, Thunder God, are responsible for my suffering. Now the piteous mortals of Earth will pay for my grievance. You turned against your fellow Elder Gods. You betrayed your title.
You betrayed us.
But
You betrayed
I
us.
win. With the Elder Gods out of the way, I will take my rightful place as ruler of all eternity. I can already feel the power surging from within. You're mad. Farewell, Thunder God.
Cooked.
By defeating you, Sub-Zero, I have avenged the death of my family and clan. Now my soul can finally rest.
Your soul will never rest, Scorpion. The Lin Kuei may have
Why are you
been
rubbing that
responsible
damn...
for your
You
murder.
know what I also noticed actually about this shit? Is this is AI upscaled. This is so hardcore AI upscaled. I started to pick it up, like I started noticing a little earlier, but like this right here, bam, that is so fucking AI touched. It's so hard to find things that have not been ruined by AI like this.
But your family's true killer still remains free.
If you are not the murderer, then who is?
I am the one you seek. To defeat my nemesis Sub-Zero.
Like, look at that, bro. That wasn't... Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Only this time, it can be won by mortal.
All right, let's compare.
By defeating you, Sub-Zero,
Yeah,
I have
see?
avenged the death of my family and clan. Now my soul can finally rest.
Your soul will never rest, Scorpion. The Lin Kuei may have been responsible for your murder, but your family's true killer still remains free.
If you are not the murderer, then who is?
I am the one you seek. To defeat my nemesis Sub-Zero, I needed the power of a Spectre. You've done my bidding well, Scorpion. But now I must return you to the Netherrealm.
You're an elder god. It's not like you can't come back from the Netherrealm. All right, we're done with the Mortal Kombat stuff for now. I'm just gonna put MK4 as like all of MK4. I don't think there's like... I just think MK4 itself solid. Solid. Yeah. Okay. Mortal Kombat 4, Legend of Dragoon, or Final Fantasy 7, Mortal Kombat 4, Legend of Dragoon, Legacy of Kain, bro. Let's look at some of that stuff. Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain. This is going to be the first game actually in the Soul Reaver series. A lot of people don't know that. There was Blood Omen, and then there was Soul Reaver and Soul Reaver 2, and then they did some other stuff afterwards. They actually did a remake not too long ago, like an HD remake, and it was actually really good. The whole package, they had the whole games packaged into the remake, and then as a bonus, they had like behind the scenes, they had some really cool shit. It was really real solid labor of love, actually. So if you guys can ever find that, pick it up. It's worth it. But Legacy of Kain, I would say the PlayStation 1 had a really solid library, the library of action action games.
There is a magical operation of maximum
Operation.
importance. The initiation of a new aeon. When it becomes necessary to utter a word, the whole planet must be bathed in blood.
Oh! Malik! Whoa! Whoa! Hold on a second. Hold on a second. He just... Oh, god damn it. I keep... Look at that shit, bro. Blew her skin completely off. Kept the clothes intact. Clothes are great. Just all of her skin gone. And meat. Skin and meat gone. Muscles, sinew, all of it, dude. Oh my god. I wonder how that must feel. Do you think it feels like anything? Because I feel like if you're stripping somebody to like that moment, I feel like you're getting rid of all their nerves, the nervous system, all their pain receptors, right? Um, I don't want to know, like personally, obviously, but that's crazy. You kept the clothes intact too. The Alejandro talent is when you're in cover, every bullet that you fire gives you a 1% weapon damage, and it stacks up to 100%. When you reload or stay out of cover for a period of time, the stacks go away. Obliterated, though. He's trying to sneak away. What are you trying to do, buddy? He's behind you now. No! Oh.
Call your dogs! They can feast on your corpses!
This bonked his ass.
For fulfilling the circle mallet of the Sunfan, you are hereby damned. The pleasures of the flesh are no longer.
Man, this was some evil shit back in those days.
Damned warrior, you will serve us for eternity.
This is pretty much the Lich King from WoW. Took his soul, put it in a suit armor.
The tavern's closing. Best be on your way, stranger.
It makes me want like a modern day gothic setting in a game. I feel like we need to revisit that. Those old medieval gothic style games. You don't get too much of that anymore. You don't get nothing that looks like Malevolent. You get all this like it's either like washed of color or it's just like dull muted colors or it's overly vibrant shit. But you never get like gothic style. And honestly, just from this alone, Yeah, just this one scene alone. Gone. Gone. Skin, muscles, gone. Tendons, gone. Holy crap. That's pretty cool. I like that idea. I like seeing that in here. Let's check out Soul Reaper. PS1 intro. Eidos. Bro, Eidos was the shit back then. Eidos was... Didn't they come out with Tomb Raider? They came out with a lot of stuff during the PS1 era. Soul Reaver being one of them. Soul Reaver was actually really popular. But Eidos was a giant back in the day. I feel like Eidos was kind of like the first company that really went in on like telling a story through cutscenes, other than like Square and Final, but that's a little bit more abstract. But this is more like it was the closest thing to like watching a movie on a game, I feel like. Crystal Dynamics? Hey! Yeah, did the same shit with Uncharted.
Cain is deified. The clans tell tales of him. Few know the truth. He was mortal once, as were we all. However, his contempt for humanity drove him to create me and my brethren. I am Raziel, firstborn of his lieutenants. I have served Cain a millennium. The gift continued to evolve. We became less human and more divine. Cain would enter the state of change and emerge with a new gift. Some years after the
Boo! I'm not sure.
Master, our evolution would follow. Until I had the honor of surpassing my lord.
I guess he didn't like that. He said, wings in my courtyard. No, sir, this is a no-fly zone. Look at him.
For my transgression, I earned a new kind of reward. Agony.
Bro, these games are graphic, man. Like, he literally just, like, stripped the bone right off of that guy. The skin's still intact, but the bone is just clean gone. This guy he's a menace. Oh, why do I hear booze?
There was only one.
The tenderness. Jeez Louise. There's some tender wings. Somebody better call Wingstop.
I, Raziel, was to suffer the fate of traitors and weaklings, to burn forever in the bowels of the lake of the dead.
Cast him in.
Into the Soulnado.
Tumbling, burning with white-hot fire, I plunged into the depths of the abyss. Unspeakable pain, relentless agony. Time ceased to exist. Only this torture and a deepening hatred of the hypocrisy that damned me to this hell. An eternity passed, and my torment receded, bringing me back from the precipice of madness. The descent had destroyed me, and yet I lived.
You know, I feel like the PlayStation 1 was really one of the first consoles that was geared more towards adults. They had more adult themes, they showed more adult content. Now, I'm not saying the other consoles did not have adult content, right? There are some porn games on every console if you look hard enough. And there are some adult themed games with involved murder and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was all pixelated, right? It was all pixel graphics. It was all just bits, and so it still didn't really look threatening. You know what I mean? Like Friday the 13th on the NES, surreal was that going to be? How violent was that going to be? How scary was that going to be, right? But with the PlayStation, I feel like these companies were afforded the ability to really delve into these things and really create media that wasn't really geared for kids. And I think it's because of that, because of these themes, these darker themes, these grittier themes, this more adult version of what used to be like a kid's pastime back in the day. I think if we really look at that and see how that particular style of gaming progressed, it would be easy to see that where we are now. I think the PS1 is when really gaming became more than just a child's pastime. I feel like with the PS1 era, that's when it really became serious and ingrained in society as something everybody could do. And you see that with things like this, with things like Tomb Raider, right? We can watch some Tomb Raider cutscenes as well. Um, I think that really started with the PS1. I think the PS1 was the progenitus of all of that. As far as like cutscenes on this, um, when was this released? Let's check this out. 1999. Yeah, he's an avatar now. God damn it. Oh shit. I don't know. They're funny to look at in hindsight and looking back at them. They're real, like, yeah, you can look at it and see and you obviously have the comparison to today's tech and just look at it and see. But during the heyday of this, when these games were first coming out, this was serious. Seeing something like this in gaming rose created a lot of apprehension and alarm as to what gaming was and who the intended audience was for. Now, PC gaming for the longest time up until this point had some adult themes. They had a lot of adult games. I can't remember. I'll have to like cross check the information. Um, but for serious themes like this and for sexuality like Laura Croft and all that stuff, you can kind of draw it all towards the PlayStation 1 as like the starting point. Bro, Ghost. I hear a lot about this game. I have not played it. I want to get the HD remake and try to play through it, or maybe even just play it on an emulator. I have the console. I just don't have a. You know what's weird to me now that we're on this? I'm going to sidetrack completely left field. Modding the PlayStation 1 is so much harder than modding the PS2 or any other console that I have. I actually have to like solder on an HDMI port, bro. Blows my fucking mind. Blows my mind that I have to do that. So I haven't tampered with it. I don't want to break it because it's like I have the box for it. I have everything for it. So it's like pristine. I don't want to fuck with the PS1. But once I find a way to stream it, to get that specific console to be able to show up on streams, I am definitely going to be playing through a lot of the PS1 library. But these themes were new to us. And when you're 12, 13 years old, right? When you're barely a teenager and your mom buys you Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver because the cover looks good, they don't know, your parents don't know what the fuck you're getting into. Right? When they buy you Tomb Raider and you get that shower scene, which we'll watch here in a second, what do? Right? It's weird to me now that I think about it, how all this stuff was so like taboo back in the day. It was so crazy, right? Oh my God. Especially getting your fucking skin and meat just stripped off you like a damn chicken wing. But as far as cutscenes, I'm gonna put this at 5, just because we don't have filler space at the moment. But I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't make it in the top 5. Legacy of Kain, just the whole series. I am looking at all PS1, or as many PS1 cutscenes as I can. I want to explore the entire PlayStation, well, not entire, but as much as I can, but just PS1 games. We're going to take this, I'm going to do more of these streams. This is going to be my bread and butter. Oh, the intro for Medieval. I love that. Okay. This is going to be my bread and butter as far as YouTube and streaming. I think I'm going to do this for pretty much every console, every generation, everything. I think this is a lot of fun, and it gives me a lot of content to really look at. And Medieval's pretty tight. I completely forgot about Medieval. We're gonna watch. I'm gonna watch this shower scene real quick before I forget about it. Tomb Raider. Once again, Eidos as well. These games. This was Uncharted before Uncharted was Uncharted. What the fuck? Damn. Deep fried. Like imagine, I don't know, let's say 12-year-old you, right? You're sitting in your room when you're playing your PlayStation, you finally get this and your mom, well, Billy, we got your favorite bagel bites ready for you and a nice Mountain Dew, and then walk into this scene. What would your parents have said if they seen this?
Think you've seen enough?
Bam! Gone. Blown up. I thought there was another shower scene. I could be wrong. Tomb Raider, Eidos. I'm gonna just leave it at Eidos. You know what? No, we'll just do that. We'll just do Legacy of Kain, Tomb Raider. I kind of the same thing, right? I think Tomb Raider has more of an impact than Legacy of Kain. As far as like cutscenes and playability, right? Not playability, but like Tomb Raider. That's for sure. Medieval. Bro, this was also a lovable game. This game was like this guy, this character, even though what was his name? Oh my god. It's on the tip of my tongue. I think he's like one of the knights. He's named after one of the knights of the Round Table, if I'm not mistaken. But like this was like the mascot of the PlayStation 1 before Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, just watch this for a minute. Fortescue. Never mind. It was not a knight on the Round Table.
In a time long ago, there lived in the kingdom of Gallowmere a sorcerer named Zarok. This arrogant, pitiless man hated his fellow citizens for their simple and peaceful ways. So he raised an army of demons and set out to take the realm for his own. The king's champion, Sir Daniel Fortescue, led the militia into battle against this unholy
Got them bulging eyes out of his outside of his armor.
How he spearheaded the charge deep into the accursed multitude. How demons fell before him like wheat before the scythe, and how at last, though mortally wounded, he destroyed the sorcerer utterly. Fortescue went down in history that day as the hero of Gallowmere. And a time of peace began, which was to last for 100 years. And then, the sorcerer returned.
Makes my nose itch. You ever wonder why that is? Why seeing somebody else like it scratch your ear or the nose or something kind of makes you want to do that? The war scene? Well, if that's not in here, we'll check it out here in a second. Man, that's a big ass pan. Well, you're right. I feel like this has a very heavy Tim Burton vibe to it for sure. That motherfucker looks the same. Hasn't aged a day. Why you cheesing, bro? Why you cheesing at me? I like this. I think this is honestly. I feel like these cutscenes do such a great job at telling you what the PlayStation 1 is about. They tell you what to expect when you have a PlayStation 1, what kind of goofiness and like fun you can have, because this is a fun cutscene. Everything's so abstract and angles and obtuse and shit like that, right? I'm not obtuse, but like it's so exaggerated in a very Tim Burton style, very artistic. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very artistic, and when I think of the PlayStation 1, I do think of Medieval. I think this game is kind of like a staple of PlayStation 1. If you were there back then, if you were around back then you knew about Medieval. I don't know if people nowadays know about Medieval. If you ask them about PS1 games, I don't think this is going to be the first that comes to their mind. But that doesn't mean that it's not without its charm or it's not impactful. Because of that, I'm gonna give this the second spot. So we're gonna knock Legend of Dragoon down to 4. Mortal Kombat goes to 3. And then Medieval, number 2. Let's fix the sizing on that. Perfect. Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey. Let's check it out. I wouldn't, I mean, it's really good actually. I can't really, I want to be skeptical. I want to be dismissive. I've played it. I've played all of Oddworld. I've played all of Oddworld. That's so hard to say. I've played the series, Munch's Odyssey, everyone but The Stranger. I didn't really get into The Stranger. I didn't bother playing that. It was more of like an FPS. But Abe's Odyssey, Munch's Odyssey, bro, those were two really good games. Really, really good games. And as much as Medieval is the like it can showcase the style of PlayStation, same way. Same way. Like you won't get something like this on other consoles. This is so like textbook PlayStation, textbook PS1. I feel like Oddworld fits in the PlayStation world the same way like a Zelda or a Mario would fit in the Nintendo world. It's like a great representation of like what the console is. And not only that, but this is like one of the first games I can recall, I can remember that had a real strong, serious message that it conveyed through the goofiness of it. The art style really told a solid fucking story and augmented the gameplay so well. Um, was this also Eidos? Was Oddworld Eidos? No, GT Interactive. GT Interactive. But this had a really, really solid message of like consumerism and honestly, um, playing this game and looking at this, it's gonna sound goofy, but it really did like open my eyes to these kinds of things, right? Like, granted, we're not eating people, right? But it's such a commentary on consumerism and such a commentary on capitalism. And those are very serious topics. But to take that, something so serious as that, and to not only like get your point across from your perspective, but to do it so well that you almost subtly, subliminally affect the minds of the people that are playing this. I don't want to call it brainwashing, but it's because it's not. But it made you think, and it made you want to open your eyes to these things. And it's weird. It's so weird to try and convey this now because today's age, it's so easy to take something like that and put it in a game. But this, when this came out, when you look at where gaming was when this came out, this was so much different than anything else. It's crazy. What's up, Tej? Hey, give me some badass Mortal Kombat 1 or not Mortal Kombat 1. Give me some badass PlayStation 1 games and cutscenes to check out. Here's my tier list so far. Final Fantasy 7, just from the simple fact of what it did at the time, where it was, how it took the Final Fantasy franchise and transcended it into the 3D world so flawlessly, has to sit at number 1. Just from what it did, has to sit at number 1. Number 2, Medieval. I think Medieval is such a great PlayStation game. Medieval is such a representation of what the PlayStation was. Set it aside from like the 64. You weren't going to see a game like Medieval on the 64 or any other console at the time. That's it's at number 2. Number 3, bro, MK4. All of those cutscenes. There's actually, I'm glad you're here, Teaser. There's a clip that I think is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Legend of Dragoon, that I might have to take that off. I think Legend of Dragoon is coming down. Like I would put Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy kind of in the same category, but as good as Dragoon is, as great as it is, it just doesn't. I don't think it holds a place up here. Hella funny, bro. Hella funny. Life imitating art so well in Mortal Kombat 4. Tomb Raider classic. Once again, see, here's the deal though. It is, where do we draw the line? Because Tomb Raider, Medieval, Oddworld, um, I feel like they're all kind of in the same kind of category of just like great PlayStation 1 games. And granted, they are, right? The cutscenes are all the same. But, anyways, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. Let's check out the intro. Rupture Farms.
This is Rupture Farms. They say it's the biggest meat processing plant on Oddworld. I used to work here. Well, I was really a slave, like all the others. That's me. My name is Abe. I was Employee of the Year. Now I'm dead meat. I crossed the meanest boss in the world, Mullock the Gluckin. My whole life changed in just one day.
Spyro. We'll check out Spyro.
At Rupture Farms.
Bro, I played some ass PS1 games, but Spyro is one of my favorites. We'll cue that up next.
We used to make meat munchies. Until the meaches were through. We still made paramite pies. And we made some good scrap cakes, too.
Scrap cakes. Delicious.
I thought I had a good job. But that was before I knew. How we'd make new and tasty, I was still to find. The truth, it turned out. Now that would blow my mind.
Just ate 6 Popeyes biscuits. No beverage.
'Cause profits were grim. Paramites and scrabs had been turning up thin.
Bro, this is the inside of Bandai Namco right now. Looking at the Tekken franchise.
Mullock was cool. He had a plan.
He had a plan. More heat bursts.
This new kind of
More
meat.
rage art.
It was us. I just had to escape. I just had to be free. And I didn't even know I had a destiny. So, get me out of here!
Stubby ass legs. Nope. Boogerman on the N60 or the Super SNES use a fart as an attack. Oddworld. Look, I'm not gonna. I cannot deny the significance of the game and what it stood for. But as far as like cutscenes, I think that's probably gonna take the number 4 spot. Only because like when you turn it on and when you look at it as like a kid, right? When you're first exposed to this, you don't like it kind of falls flat on you. the whole concept of what they're trying to get through, right? It hides a really deep meaning and really deep philosophical conundrum behind like gameplay. And sure, that means that it's got depth to it, but or cutscenes, not gameplay. But yeah, I'd be okay with putting it at well, not Munches, Oddworld. We'll just put Oddworld. Yeah, that'd be good. I would put Oddworld. No, you know what? Honestly, we'll do number 3. I can't have Oddworld be lower than Mortal Kombat. Oddworld. Well, look, hey, look. If Spyro's good, it's gonna take a spot here. It's gonna take a spot. This isn't set. This is just from what I've seen so far. So I think next up to go might either be MK4 or Tomb Raider. Tej, is there a specific Spyro game? It's got to be from the PS1. But is there a specific Spyro game that had a cutscene that you liked? It's a fever dream at this point. I don't remember. It's a fever dream at this point. Bro, you ain't lying, bro. Spyro PS1 intro. Let's just look at this. We'll look at this. Now, what I can appreciate about this actually is if this does what I think it's gonna do. Yeah. Um.
Okay, rolling. Oh, it's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6? For
All
Dragon's
in-game
Age,
rendering.
we now
In-game
have
rendering is always
12,000
badass.
treasure, or is it 14,000? What about this Ganasty Gnorc character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature. Simple! He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly that.
Damn! Oh.
Looks like I've got some things to do.
Why does you sound nasally? That was it? Hey, hold on, let me see real quick. We'll do this. We'll do the startup screen. You want to talk about a contrast, bro? A stark contrast between games like Oddworld and Tomb Raider, right? Which is like social commentary, sex appeal, and then you got this, which is like almost like an homage or like a time machine back to like gaming. And like sure you got Crash Bandicoot, kind of fits the same kind of shoe, but it speaks volumes to the vastness of that console to have something like this share the same library as Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, which are also sharing the same library as like Final Fantasy VII, right? There was such a vast array of just different, not even just different games, but different experiences. Like there was so you could tap into the entire spectrum of emotions with just your one PlayStation 1. Now, granted, a lot of that can be done now with these big consoles, all this space and stuff, but you still see like there's just a lack of charm in these newer games. There's a lack of like personality. You don't see developer personality kind of gleam through these games like you used to with Spyro or Oddworld Medieval, right? It all just if you don't fit the mold, if you don't fit the AAA pattern, if you're not here for all these AAA studios, then your game's not getting over. But back in the heyday, you could get away with this shit. It was encouraged to get away with this shit. To have goofy shit like this. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think Spyro, if there was no legacy behind it, right? If there was no nostalgia behind it, do you think Spyro would get over today? Yes, it does. It feels, you know why? Because money is involved now. All of a sudden, millions of dollars are at stake. Let's side check here. Wait, as far as Spyro is concerned, I'm running out of space. Okay, let's do this. 4 is gonna sit Spyro. Hey, I'll be honest. First it was gaming. Now we're starting to see it with anime. Same with your favorite up and coming artists. When things get mainstream, they end up ruined. Teach, I'll put it to you this way, man. I seen this happen in the 80s and early 90s with heavy metal, with thrash metal specifically. When Metallica first started, right? Megadeth, Black Sabbath's already doing its thing, but like all this thrash metal started hitting the scene. It was something new, it was different, and because it was new, it wasn't established. There really wasn't any kind of money to be made in it, and so all you had was the only people that were doing this, that were playing this kind of music, are the people that were passionate about it, that wanted to be creative, that wanted to take this medium, whether it be music, gaming, or whatever. You can apply this to anything, but they wanted, like, it was open to expression at that point. And because there was no money into it, right, there was no real consequence of failing. There really wasn't, right? You write a song and it doesn't get over, okay, cool, but you still wrote a song and you still enjoyed it. Hey, thanks for the sub, Ghost. Let's pop this bitch up. But when you're creating something without that fear, or without, not even a fear, but without any really consequence of failing, that opens you up to being as creative as you want, because you can throw whatever the fuck you wanted at the wall. That's happened with thrash metal. Like, with there's no consequence of failure, you had all this freedom to create. And the thing is it caught on, bro. This music, this thrash metal scene, bro, blew the fuck up. Everybody was angry at something at the time because we were getting over some crazy shit in the economy, all this stuff. It was just such an accurate reflection of society that it just caught on like wildfire. And all of a sudden, Metallica blew up, Megadeth blew up, all this shit, bro. But then consumerism and capitalism took hold. And all of a sudden, corporate America wanted to market that. How do you market creativity? How do you contain that? How do you put something like that and something like this? You can't. They're two polar opposites of each other. And what happens is you strip that creativity. It becomes stripped, it becomes homogenized, it fits in a mold, and now all of a sudden, all these record companies that are dumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into you, oh, well, since we spent all this fucking money on you, we can't afford you being creative. We can't afford you failing. You cannot fail. So instead, stick to this formula. Sure, the formula is not going to be anything that breaks the mold, but it's steady income. It creates steady revenue. It's consistent. It's safe. It's all this shit. And then it becomes shoehorned into new metal. All of a sudden, nobody's playing guitar solos. Everybody's playing bullshit power chords. Everything sounds the fuck the same. Same thing with hip hop and rap, bro. You look at the roots of rap, you look at where it came from, the emotions that drove the creation of that kind of music, bro. And those emotions became stripped. It's not about emotions anymore. It's just about taking that template of rap, hip hop, and all that stuff and just homogenizing it, making it safe for everybody, making it consistent with everybody. Oh, this isn't as creative as it used to be, but it sells. It reaches more people because it sells more. It becomes canned. And we're seeing it now with gaming. It's all cyclic, cylindrical, cyclic. I think the word cyclic. It's circle. Um, it's the same thing that happens, and we're seeing it with gaming now. Is you had the ability to be creative, to do things like this, to sit here and write these crazy ass stories and do these crazy ass cutscenes, man. And now that capitalism has a hold of it, now that consumerism has a hold of this, now that corporate America's got their claws deeply embedded in the gaming industry, not even just corporate America, the whole world, right? We're seeing exactly the same thing we saw with music. It's become homogenized. It's become safe. It fits a mold. It's not going to be creative. You don't need to be creative. Just give them another war shooter, right? Give them another $100 million shooter game. Oh, we don't need creativity. Just up the graphics. Use the latest graphics engine. Look at the fighting games. We're gonna look at the Tekken cutscenes in the PS1 era, and we're gonna see how much fucking different those games were back then than they are now. And it sucks because I consider it the exploitation of creativity. And so I don't think Spyro would exist in a world today. I don't think it would. And that's a shame. That's a damn shame. And to just even put a cherry on top of all this shit, bro, let's take a look at Grand Theft Auto 6. $3 billion. Estimate. That game cost that company $3 billion fucking dollars to make. The question you need to be asking yourselves is how is that money going to be made up? Because these companies, they don't do this for charity. I guarantee you, Rockstar did not dump $3 billion in that game to be creative, to take creative chances, to risk failing. How are they going to make that money back? What are they going to do to turn a net profit from that game? It's not going to be creative. I guarantee you that. It's not going to be crazy creative or anything. That's why I say that it's going to be real interesting. I'm keeping my eye on GTA 6, especially more than any other game that I've ever focused on before, because I really do see GTA 6 as the greatest chance at the collapse of the modern gaming industry. That's truly how I see it, because they're gonna have to do some crazy fucking shit to make up that $3 billion, and not even to make a profit. Not even I'm gonna do a new thing. Instead of getting loud, I'm gonna get quiet. I'm gonna get low, right? I don't want to peak. I don't want my voice to cut up. We're gonna get low. We're gonna get you in to focus on the words that I'm saying, right? When something's at a low volume, you pay more attention to it so you understand what's happening. There is no way that they're going to make up that $3 billion and make a profit without doing something scummy. In my eyes, in my opinion, there's no way that money gets made up and turned into a profit without the exploitation of something. And they've already exploited their workforce. You've heard the horror stories of all those late benders, right? The mandatory overtime without the overtime pay and all that stuff, right? So what are they going to exploit? Who are they going to exploit? It's not going to be the publishing company. It's not going to be the game stores. GameStop's on his dying fucking legs. What are you going to get out of GameStop? Us. Me, you. You guys watching, me doing this. That's who they're going to try and take advantage of. That's who they're going to try and exploit to make this money back. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this all plays out. It's going to be super interesting to see. And granted, I'm a little out there in my thoughts, sure, right? I've done enough psychedelics to understand that there's a to understand that the way I perceive these things isn't always reality, right? But at the same time, um, logic dictates that that 3 billion has to come back from somewhere. And I can't think of any other place that money's going to come from other than our pockets. So we'll see what happens. And god damn it, bro, if they're going to charge me $200 for a game, and in that game I have to do my taxes, or IRS is going to come after me in that game, right? If I have to pay traffic bills, if I have to do shit that I'm already doing in real life, if you have to do shit that you're already hate doing in real life, then the gaming industry deserves to collapse. It deserves to crumble. At least the AAA gaming industry, right? This is all within the context of AAA gaming. There is no way a game should cost hundreds of millions of fucking dollars to be made. No reason for it to do that. If you want to dump hundreds of millions of dollars into something, make a fucking movie. Buy a football team. Hell, create a football team. Right? Buy a fucking TV station. If you want to burn 100 million fucking dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, keep it out of fucking video games. Because it's not going to end well. It's not. It's not. Let's see what you guys have to say. The best case scenario, Tej, is it meets expectations. And that it better be better than sex. Well, hey, look, man. Depending on who you're laying across, Spyro could be better than sex. Rival 3 bill just for them not to be like GTA 5 did, making the standard game $200. I heard that they were trying to entertain the idea of a $100 price tag. But even at $100, how many copies you're gonna have to sell to make that 3 billion back? And like Tej was saying, best case scenario, it meet expectations. You sit in the black, you make up your money. Oh, Ghost here. So I will say video games haven't kept up with the inflation rates. It does irk me a tiny bit when people get upset about games costing $70, $80. You know, it's weird, bro. The people complaining about that. Well, look, let's take a look. Because at the time, I can clearly remember Super Nintendo games costing $60 to $70 back then. That was the 90s, right? How much was $60 worth? Oh, wait. How much is $60 in the 90s worth now? Well, let's give me a specific year. Super Nintendo released in the 90s. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. Super Mario World 90s magazine ad. Sales ad. How much did Super Mario World cost in the 90s? There we go. Here we go. Let's see here. This is a magazine ad. Let's bring this over here, actually. Nope. I want to bring this right there. Perfect. Let's look at this. So on average, $60, $70. Game Boys were $30, $20. So $60 in the 90s was equivalent to $150 today. $150 today. Here's another stat. How much did it cost to make Super Mario World? Several $1 million. So really, in reality, bro, when we really look at this, right, is it really inflation? I feel like looking at it from that perspective, taking the past into account, inflation and things like that, we were paying more for games back then than we were now. But at the same time, the money we had was worth more back then than it was now. So that's kind of the offset of it. It's weird, man. It's weird. Rival GTA 6 gets a battle pass, I'm gonna be pissed. How would you make a battle pass on GTA 6 though? What do you lock behind the content? Cars, guns? At that point, doesn't that become pay to win? Imagine if GTA 6 came out with the pay to win model. Oh boy, imagine the kind of shitstorm that would be stirred the fuck up. In retrospect, cartridge games, ever not counting 96 games, are actually cheaper today than ever, not counting Battle Pass. In retrospect, cartridge games were 50 to 60 bucks in the 90s. Games are actually cheaper today than they ever were. Sure. But at the same time, when you spent that, that's all you got. That's it. That's it. Now you look at games today. Look at how much extra money we're paying for games. Let's take Division 2. I spent 20 bucks to buy a skin and some bundles the other few months ago. Right? It's just 20 bucks on top of the 70 bucks that I paid. So I'm already at $90, right? You're paying the extra stuff. It's cheaper now, but you're spending more money in the long run. Oh, well, don't forget the expansion. I spent 30 bucks on $45 on the expansion. So I'm $140 in on Division. Granted, 8 years in. That's over 8 years, so sure. Every game now is a money grab. Ain't that the fucking truth? Teach. No way they exceed expectations with the doomers of this day and age. There's too much skepticism. You're right. There is way too much skepticism, and rightfully so. I mean, look at the shit we're getting with Tekken 8. look at what we're getting. We're paying premium prices for that experience, right? We have a right to be, and there's an expectation for us to be skeptical because games just ain't being. They're not made as quality to me as they were back then. At least you could make up for the bugs for example with Spyro, right? You didn't think about the bugs because the game caught you in other ways. It made up for it. It made up for all that shit. Cosmetic, cars, guns, houses, do a season pass, right? Nintendo is the biggest example of money grab. Hey, look. No, I can't even say that about Nintendo. You know, honestly, to me, the single biggest, well, outside of like Fortnite and Call of Duty, right? Those are obviously cash grab. But Nintendo specifically, you want to talk about fans getting fucked. I would say no other fan base has got it harder than the Pokemon fan base. Yeah. Yeah. But not even the money grabs. That's talking from like pay to win and buying extra stuff. Oh, bro, I almost thought about making a video about WWE and what they're making now. And I'm not even. I could make a. I could go on a fucking stream and just bitch about WWE, the game, the product, all of it. It's all going down fucking hill fast. Fast, bro. That sucks too, man. They were almost there, bro. They were almost good, and then they just TKO bottom and they went straight to hell. I would say Pokemon. Out of all the franchises in the world, when it comes from profit yield to the amount of money you're spending on producing a product, Pokemon fans are getting the ramrod the hardest. They're getting the rammiest, the roddiest. They're getting ramrodded the hardest. You look at the last Pokemon game. What was it? Scarlet Violet, right? Oh, not even that. There was the one right after that, right? No, bro, because look, let's look at. Oh my god, bro, I'm going on a whole tangent here now. You look at the Pokemon on like the Game Boy. Let's turn that off. Don't worry about that. That'll come in a later clip. But you look at Pokemon on the Game Boy, you look at what it was and how big it was, right? And granted, we didn't get Pokemon on the Super Nintendo. They didn't give us Pokemon. They gave us Pokemon DX, right? Gale of Darkness. But they made so much money, dude. Why could you not give us a proper open world Pokemon game? Scarlet and Violet ran like shit on the Switch. Optimized to the worst degree on the Switch, bro. Terrible experience on the Switch. And not only that, but you couldn't even, you had this current gen, we're in a world where Skyrim exists, where GTA 5 exists, all this crazy high fidelity open world gaming, and you could not deliver a stable open world Pokemon. And not only that, the open world Pokemon you gave us doesn't even have all of the Pokemon. And then I'll fast forward to the latest one where you were in a fucking city. You didn't even get to go outside the city. You were stuck in a fucking city and you had designated Pokemon catch zones. Bro, that is not Pokemon. That's Pokemon Go, the game on the Switch. That's not Pokemon, bro. I'm telling you, bro, nobody's getting shafted harder than the Pokemon fans. Nobody. You can't convince me otherwise. Because the sports fans, bro, they're just dumb enough to eat all those sports games anyways. They don't care. They don't care. They're, of course, between fantasy football and fantasy basketball and the fucking Coors Lights and the wing stops and all that shit, bro, they don't give a fuck about the game. WWE fans are getting fucked pretty hard now. But Pokemon has a legacy of fucking over their fans. I'm fucking saliving everywhere. They have a legacy of doing that. They've been doing that ever since the first one. And there's no reason to, because Pokemon is easily one of the most, if not the single most profitable gaming IP out there. Hey, Grave, I bet you got a copy of Madden. I bet you got a copy of Madden sitting somewhere. Oh, damn. I guess not. Bro, I used to chug Coors, dude. I used to just party fucking hardy with Coors. But yeah, I think Pokemon, bro, that Pokemon team, Nintendo, hard shafting their fans. Easily hard shafting their fans. Man, I wish you guys grew up with the EA that I knew. With Electronic Arts, Desert Storm, Jungle Strike, no, Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, fucking Jade Empire, right? Knights of the Old Republic. EA was the hero we needed, and then some dipshit got in control and drove that shit right into the ground. Right into the ground. And then we got Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh man. Okay. PlayStation. Oh. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Tekken 1 PS1 endings. Let's go back. Let's go back to Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. And my dogs are bothering. They need to be let out real quick. You want to talk about creativity? I feel like it's really hard to stand out in the fighting game genre as a whole. I think there are only so many directions you can go if you don't have like the best combat. With Mortal Kombat, they had the violence, right? The gore, all that shit. Street Fighter was the progenitus. They were the very first ones, right? So they got first. Tekken, just about how ridiculous these scenes are, dude. Really made it stand apart for me. Extremely. Very, very much. And then fast forward a few years, a couple of console generations, and or a console generation, because I guess it was all on the PS2. But then Tekken started getting that reputation of being Tekken, like Tekken. And everybody knows that I really didn't get into it until Tekken 8. I didn't feel like I was going to be good enough to really be good at that game. But I've always loved these cutscenes. Anytime I was at like a CC's Pizza or a Discovery Zone or whatever, as a teen kid, and I see a Tekken arcade, I wouldn't play it, but I'd sit there and I'd watch like the scenes. So this brings back a lot of memories for me. Was there, real quick, has there ever really been a reveal of who King is behind the mask? I don't think I've ever seen King's face. That music is something else though, bro. Man, this is so Harada. Man, Cowboy Bebop was tight. I don't know how I feel about that live action one though. It seemed like every motherfucker on PlayStation was always on a cliff. Like fighting games, right? Look at Mortal Kombat 4, cliffs. Tekken, cliffs. I bet if we look into it, we'll probably see more cliffs rendered in PlayStation 1 than any other kind of terrain. Harvest Moon, cliffs. Oh, come on, bitch. And then this shit. Bro, they had to sit here and render that. And they looked at that and said, that is fucking badass. They had to, because that was the best. Like, this was top of the line back then, bro. This was cutting edge back then. And so they're like, oh my God, look at the detail in his eyebrows. You can actually make him smile? Like, what the fuck? Oh my God. But damn, bro. My favorite part is he literally, like, he does this. He looks there. And then he looks at you. Like, what the fuck are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Also, one thing they do that I really fucking like is the way they rendered the sky. It looks like a real like skybox that they just imposed on this scene, which is really fucking cool. Once again, limitations gives you the perfect grounds for creativity. Pressure creates diamonds, bro. So they had to think of something. They didn't want to render the sky. So you look at the sky, it's actually like a video of a sky. Super cool, super creative. Oh, those are kids too. Those are real people. I didn't even realize that either. So they just imposed this. I'm like, it's pretty tight. Man, they're really getting their money out of this song. This shit's gonna be in my fucking dreams. My dreams are gonna be played through this music. Just something so uncanny about this. Bitch! Nina's always been a bitch, huh? She's always just being the crazy bitch, bro. She just gaslit her sister and just pretty much slapped the shit out of her for no reason. How dare you? He's the strongest in the universe, you know. The only, well, no, him and King, I guess. One of the only. One of the only characters in all of Tekken to not be greedy with the money. To not be selfish. To give it away. Yoshimitsu's the best, bro. Fucking Law over here. Those damn eyes. Man, look, just for like there really isn't any other game to me that looks like Tekken. There really isn't. I can't think of another game that reminds me of Tekken. And just on that fact, and the legacy of it, let's not even look. We can call Tekken 8 a symptom of this. I don't even know how to say it. We'll exclude Tekken 8 and some of the more modern ones, but Tekken on the PlayStation, there was nothing, to me at least, there was nothing more PlayStation than Tekken. There was no more of like there was no fighting game that was so symbolic of the Sony PlayStation as Tekken. When people had a PlayStation, bro, you best bet there was always a copy of Tekken or Tekken 2 or Tekken 3 laying around, right? And just for that alone, I'm gonna bump Tekken to number 3. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. What other PS1 games? I'm not going to do Crash Bandicoot. I don't think they ever had good cutscenes. I really think Crash Bandicoot was only good because he was just supposed to. He was picked to be good. He's like the fucking Hulk Hogan of the PlayStation, right? He's not actually a good game. He's just pick to be good. PlayStation 1. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot about this, bro. Oh, no, they used real life cutscenes, though. They didn't, I think 3 didn't. Yeah. Motherfucker, I don't want these title cards. Just give me the scenes, dude. I got a question for you guys. When's the last time
It all began as an
a
ordinary
gaming
day in
genre was
September.
created?
An ordinary day in Raccoon City. A city controlled by Umbrella.
When, like, for example, Resident Evil really created the horror gaming genre.
And that lack of strength would ultimately lead to their destruction.
We had Street Fighter that created the fighting game genre. Right, all that happened in the 80s and
I
90s.
suppose they had to suffer the consequences of their actions. But
Oh, yeah. That's what we got to look at.
If only they had had the courage to fight.
But the most recent one I can think of is like
begin to turn,
extraction shooters.
Nothing.
Or battle royals, right? That's like the modern gaming
chance.
genre. Battle royals.
My last escape.
But Nemesis, bro, Nemesis scared the shit out of me. I clearly remember this game scaring the shit out of me. I could not play this game for too long at a time. I'd have to turn the game off and go do something else. This is also more of like more of adult themed games. Games like this in the original Resident Evil 2, right? Those games, this genre, this franchise really did a great job at
The monsters have overtaken the city.
making making people take gaming seriously. Taking it away from this stigma of, oh, well, it's just for kids, and really like putting it in the world of like adults. Because I feel like they knew where the money was.
Okay, we've got to get out of here.
What? What do you think you're talking about? I just lost my daughter out there. How dare you tell me to go back outside?
I'm sorry about your daughter, but there isn't gonna be any rescue. We have to get out of here.
No! I'm not going anywhere. I'd rather starve to death in here than be eaten by one of those undead monsters. Now leave me alone!
What a performance, dude. What a performance. Like, damn, bro, that guy's really put, like, I love this. I love this so much because, once again, you got limitations. You got limitations. You don't have infinite space to do whatever you want, right? You only had 700 megabytes. That's how big those discs were. And within that 700 megabytes, you had all kinds of cutscenes you had to add, all this shit, right? And so a lot of the times, what these people would do is they would make sacrifices, right? This is all pre-rendered background, so that's just one image. That's not a lot of data. That's a character model right there. That's some data. By that time, right, they have all this other shit. You don't really have much, but like when somebody voices something like that and they put their effort into the voiceover and the voiceover sounds fucking good, it almost just adds to everything. It raises the value of the experience so much more. And it's just, I love seeing that. He had no reason to be that into what he was doing, but he did, because he was passionate about it, bro. He loved that shit.
I told you, I'm not leaving. Never.
The score, the music.
Get away!
Now let's not forget, as good as this was, it was bad.
Dad, hang in there. Why isn't someone doing something?
Night Demon. Wow, be more original, buddy.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close.
I just want the scene. There we go.
Hey, what's going on?
Jill? Is that you, Jill? What happened?
Clear difference in
Barry,
performance.
Help me, please. The door won't open. Quick!
Stay away from the door, Jill. I'm gonna kick this door down.
Hurry! This way!
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
Oh my god. There's such a difference. Such a fucking difference. But then again, like really bad voice acting too. If it's truly bad, then it becomes a meme. Jill Sandwich, I feel like, will live in infamy and is just as much a part of Resident Evil as anything else. As a whole, just seeing how well they progressed through their like production quality, especially just within the PlayStation 1. Capcom really put maximum effort into this game, into this franchise, and it really shows. And I feel like I'd be doing it a dishonor to be putting it number 7. I'll put it at number 4. I'll put it at number 4. I feel comfortable putting it at number 4. It takes a unique talent to build a sense of like fear, horror, anticipation, anxiety, right? All those emotions associated with like being scared, right? It takes real talent to elicit those kinds of emotions when you're limited like this. It really does. And to this day, I really don't think there really has been another company that understands that, understands that formula more than Capcom. You look at Requiem. You look at Requiem, right? Amazing. Look at Villain. They're continuing to do this. Now, granted, there's a couple of hiccups, right? But I mean, Silent Hill is kind of a close second, but I would still give it to Resident Evil. I really would. I would give it to Capcom and Resident Evil for really not only like creating, but continually defining and redefining horror genre gaming. And that's why I feel like they're a solid. I think now at this point, unless Metal Gear and Twisted Metal blow me out of the water, I think those are easily 9 and 10. But we're gonna be fine. We're gonna find out. But like, I don't know. I like, even though I don't play Resident Evil, I haven't like Nemesis was, well, no, I played Code Veronica X, I guess, but like I don't really play those. I want to. I like the franchise a lot. I just never really got around to doing it. So maybe that's on the horizon then. Maybe like a Resident Evil franchise playthrough or some shit would be pretty fun. But I really respect what Capcom was able to do with the PlayStation 1. Not just with Resident Evil, but with all other games. Like, Capcom was really catching a lot of big stride during this era. And it was really cool to see what they could come out with, what they could do. The Mega Man X series on the PlayStation was all right. Their cutscenes was kind of bad, but it was a lot of fun. What else did they have? They had a lot. Dino Crisis. Come on, Dino Crisis. Let's do that shit. Right? That's fucking amazing. Bro, Capcom, bro, give us another Dino Crisis. Look, I get it. Resident Evil's tight. I'm glad you're enjoying playing. You're getting a lot of good Resident Evils. Quit fucking around. Quit fucking around. Quit teasing us, bro. I know you guys see it. I know you guys see it. I know you guys see it all out in the open, bro. Give us a Dino Crisis game. Give it to us. Put it in the RE engine, bro. It'd be so easy. You'd be printing money. You would be printing money. All right. So on the PlayStation, we had the action adventure genre defined by games like Tomb Raider. We had the fantasy realm conquered. No other genre, I think no other console at the time did it better than PlayStation with Final Fantasy. We had Legend of Dragoon on for a minute, right? Fighting game genre, Tekken, Mortal Kombat. Some of the Street Fighter games were also on there, although their cutscenes weren't really that good. But fighting games, right? Horror genre and the Resident Evil, bro. To sit here and go from something like the Genesis or the Sega Saturn, I never had a Saturn, but to go from a Sega Saturn and that type of gaming, right? The gaming like that in that realm to evolve, literally evolve into what at the time what would have been considered as like cinematic gaming. All of a sudden story mattered, like real story, like stories could be told, stories could be shown, bro. You were interacting with these movies, so to speak. That was the vibe back then, man. And sure, looking at it now, it sounds real goofy to say, but back then, dude, when this was peak, when this was at the top, you it was something different, man. It was something different. I looking at this now, coming back to this, I see where it all started, where we're at now. I see where the whole start of that came from. Even then, Kojima had his own name on there. Look at this. This is just an action movie, bro. This is just an action movie. You're playing an action movie.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by next-generation special forces, being led by members of Foxhound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You'll have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of
Like even
Armstead,
now, they're doing the credits and
Baker.
stuff like it's a movie.
Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity.
Oh.
Psycho Mantis, with
Right.
his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver
I am
Ocelot,
pretty
specialist
shamanistic.
in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
The man with the same codename as you. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
$1998. 1 year before Final Fantasy VIII, bro. And once again, that's all in-game rendered cutscenes, bro. That's not pre-rendered. Badass. Real badass to take the game engine and to tell a story behind it. The number, Mason, what do they mean? Where would you guys put this? I can't put it... I really can't put it any higher than 6. I'm thinking 6. I don't even think Twisted Metal qualifies either. There's 4. Would they? I know 1 and 2. Let's do, is it this? I know 1 and 2 had pictures. Did this shit. Let's do 3. I think 3 had actual rendered scenes.
989 Studios.
Oh, 989. Devil is in all of us. I cannot show this on YouTube. We'll watch it. But this can't make it on YouTube. Meet the Reaper, dig it deeper, meet the creeper. Yes. Yeah, that's look. I like it. It's great. Oh, is it still playing more? We play more? Oh, well.
I am Calypso. Each year I gather the 12 worthiest drivers to face off in the Twisted Metal competition. They must face each other and some of my friends to claim the ultimate prize. I grant a single wish, whatever the winner asks for. To the losers, death.
Motherfucker, how many teeth you got?
Welcome to Twisted Metal.
That's a solid 10. that's a solid 10. Oh, yeah. I've never been so sure in my life about something. Or on this list, right? On this list of what I've seen so far, it's a solid 10. Well, there we are. Fucking 4 hours later. I did not expect to spend that much time on this. I'm glad we did. I'm really glad we did. I had a lot of fun doing this. Um, this is just the start. This is I want to do this for pretty much every console, and obviously we're gonna have to keep revisiting. Like I feel like there's so much more the PlayStation One has to offer that we barely even scratched the surface. Um, so we'll plan to revisit this. If you guys come across any cooler cutscenes from the PS1, like I said, I spend most of my time in that Discord in the culture. Hit me up. Let me know. Let me know. I'm gonna compile more lists. I'm also gonna figure out what console to go through next. This is gonna be a weekly thing. Every Monday we're gonna do this. I'm gonna pick a different console. Next week, I'm gonna do the 64. I'm gonna do the 64. Next week we'll do cartridge based. We're gonna check out 64, check out some cutscenes. I think there's gonna be some cool shit.